Line Sports Talk podcast. I want to get at this as quickly as I possibly can. Week 10 of the NFL fantasy style was an absolute catastrophe for me. We put our heart and soul into those picks last week, and a couple injuries, a few dings here and there, and guys like J.J. Nelson had me trying to lick the backside of my ass all Sunday afternoon, and I'm tired of it. So this is our shot at the title. It's our shot at redemption, Week 11. I'm joined by my boy Harbor Mike. We're ready to figure this shit out again tonight because I'm tired of losing. Mike, what's up, man?
How y'all doing?
I'm embroiled in passion, fired up.
Lance Kendricks, what's up?
Yeah, Lance Kendricks was a killer. J.J. Nelson was brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah,
just chance.
And I, pardon the vitriol and venom, but I'm just fired up, and I hate losing like that. I hate losing to injury. I hate wearing one. I hate taking the seat. It was rough. It made for a rough Sunday because we actually picked a lot of nice plays. A lot of things worked out really, really well. There were some good looks, but then when you couple them with a couple goose eggs, it's like high school and not turning in an assignment, and you get a big zero. It burned my ass a little bit, brother. So, a little shot at redemption. Let's give it a whirl.
I'm with you, brother.
Well, fire away, man. Quarterbacks seem to be the hot play, and this whole week, Week 11 of the NFL season, there's all kinds of chalk that has just great matchups. These guys are high priced. They're bumped up. You're going to pay for it, but I think that there's some ways that we can maneuver. I've got a couple little master plans worked out here, and I know your professor, Mastermind and Ass, has got something to throw at us too. So if you want to get started on quarterbacks, I'm hanging with you. Go for it.
Man, let's just go right ahead and assume that we can throw so many guys into the arena this week if you just want to talk, who to play without worrying about the rest of the positions. I mean, Big Ben looks good. Mariota looks good. Obviously, Mariota, you called him a few weeks ago. He's on fire. He's somebody to start each week in your standard league.
Yeah, he is. Special player so far.
Yeah, on the other hand, so does Andrew Luck looks good. So really, we have a bunch of people. I'm still on the Aaron Rodgers train. So if I want to go that top end echelon quarterback, I'm going Rodgers. Only because I really like the situation they're in with not having a running game and not being overall as good a team as they've been in the past. You see Aaron Rodgers flinging the ball a lot more, and that is the perfect. We've never seen Aaron Rodgers on a team like Detroit getting that type of Matthew Stafford mileage going on. But for the last
you're right. You're right. Washington this week's 15th overall against the pass, 23rd against the run. Green Bay signs Christine Michael, which he won't make a difference this week. I doubt he'll be part of this offense, but I do think that a healthy James Starks could make a difference this week.
Possibly. And overall, I'm not concerned with the matchup as far as how tough they're obviously not number one against the pass, Washington. So obviously it's a middle-of-the-road matchup, but it's Aaron Rodgers, and they have so many weapons to catch the ball that I'm not worried about someone being stymied. So, but again, he's not my number one play this week. I'm kind of torn between Kirk Cousins, and believe it or not, you might laugh at this, but maybe that's the reason why I'm here. I really like Blake Bortles this week. If you see what he's actually doing, he's again, you don't want him on your team if you want to win games.
I can't.
He can put it's against Detroit. They're horrible.
I know.
They've given up so much to the position that I don't have a problem starting him. But like I said, he's not jumping out, so I have him and Kirk Cousins in. If I'm actually telling you the truth, I have him, Aaron Rodgers, and Kirk Cousins in the same number of lineups. So take that for what you will.
I will, and I'm going to allow me to rebut here. I can't do it. I get it. I've seen it all over the place. I've seen it all over the expert boards. I trust your choices. I trust your judgment. That is why you're here. But this is one guy I just can't do it, and I've hit a wall now. 10 complete weeks into the season where I can't do two things. I can't put my money behind a bad football team, and I can't put my money behind a bad player. He's a garbage time player, and that's where you get all these points, and I get it. I'm not going to play it, but I understand why you are, and I think it's ballsy and gutsy, and go for it, but no.
Well, then go and, like I said, if you want to take my input then, take a Cousins or a Rodgers because either one of those guys is going to go off in the game.
Yeah, I think
not
Kirk Cousins could be a masterpiece this weekend. That could be a great play, in an absolute boat race against the Green Bay Packers.
And he's only 400 more than Bortles, so it doesn't disrupt lineups if you want to try and play two lineups and
sure.
alternate the quarterbacks, because that's what my philosophy was. And then, obviously, when I went Aaron Rodgers, I had to take a hit at the third wide receiver spot, but we'll get there in a second.
Sure. Well, and the reason I have to bash the Bortles play is because I've got this problem lingering in my head from last week, and that problem is in a couple lineups. Like an absolute jackass, I couldn't resist but tuck Jay Cutler into a couple of them. And in my heart of hearts, in my guts, in the bottom of my intestines, my stomach was gurgling and going, he's terrible. He sucks. Why are you playing a guy that sucks? And I did it anyway. And it's against my cardinal rule, disenfranchised player on a bad team, on a shitty offense, and I played him. Now, that's not exactly a comparison to Blake Bortles, but I feel the same way about the two right now, so I can't do it.
Oh, I'm with you.
I get it.
It's such a juicy matchup as far as on paper. Detroit's giving up the third most points to quarterback, and actually number one is Atlanta, and they're not playing, so then you actually have Cleveland. So of all the teams playing, they're second in most points given to the position. So I have that going for me. And again, like I said, I'm rotating those three, actually with a couple other quarterbacks as well. But I don't feel as well as them. So like I said, I'll go with Kirk Cousins if we're going to boil it down to one this week. That's my pick for one at $7,600. I like the cost.
Yeah, I do. There's a lot of value to Cousins, and he is my number two on this week's shot. I'm going to stay with what works for myself right now, and I love Marcus Mariota, even on the road. That's a short trip, Tennessee to Indianapolis, not a big deal. I don't have any concerns of jet lag. That's a fast track in Indianapolis. And the one thing about Mariota that jumps out against me this week is the Indianapolis Colts haven't stopped anybody.
No, that's going to be a high-scoring game, I think.
I think so. I really do. I thought last week, in my pick, I really loved the Tennessee Titans last week against Green Bay. It's the same reason why I like Kirk Cousins against Green Bay this week, especially at home on primetime TV. You might get a little bit of you like that out of Kurt late Sunday night. But I'm going to plug Marcus Mariota into my lineup, and I've got a few tricks up my sleeve as well with what we can do with Mariota. So if you and I have some contrarian opinions tonight, I think it's even more fun because to the listener that's putting together a lineup, this gives you guys all kinds of options. Start to listen and think and then make your own decisions. But hear what we talk about. If we agreed on everything all day and all night, you wouldn't want to listen to it. So I like it.
Advice, if you're really that hard up on Mariota, start another lineup and have Andrew Luck as your quarterback too, because I'm high on him. And if you think that game is the game where you're going to get the performance points of the position, then go ahead and start him too. It's overwhelming the choices at quarterback this week.
It is.
So
it's exciting.
I'm not even sad that you're hating on my Blake Bortles.
You should have expected it.
I did. I like shit like this, though, man.
Yeah, you should have. Brady, he's got a great matchup against San Francisco. He loves, whenever he's had the opportunity to go beat up on his hometown 49ers. Remember, he's a California kid. But I can't. Again, not for $9,300. I think you get a lot more value from somebody else. This is a game that I'm sure his receivers can benefit well from it, but they've been running the ball so well. Brady shit the bed last Sunday night.
Exactly, and it wasn't his performance. It was just the fact that Blunt's so bad at it.
Yeah, they just run the ball. Give it to LG and let him bowl somebody over. He's a right hook on two legs.
That's good points to make because this week you have both Roethlisberger at Cleveland and your boy you just mentioned at San Francisco. That might really take production away from the quarterback, like you just said.
I think it does.
Guys. So they might not have much because I could see Le'Veon Bell tearing ass against Cleveland, although notoriously Cleveland plays Pittsburgh better, and a lot of times they shut down the run. So we'll see, believe it or not, because they're horrible against the run otherwise, or to the running back position. So
yeah, they are. Cleveland's a sieve defensively.
That's a good point. If there's any pause to take at those two positions for that dollar value, it's because their running games might be so strong, it just might take their passing game out of the game.
It is. Pittsburgh loves to involve Le'Veon Bell on the outside. He does catch a lot of passes. I watched that entire Pittsburgh-Dallas game last week. What a great football game. Great players on both sides of the ball. Elevated, escalated, and an incredible quarterback play from both Dak Prescott and Ben Roethlisberger. But Big Ben's he's a Hall of Famer right now.
Yeah, he is.
Right now, he's incredible. And Dak Prescott does not fail to impress, man. That kid is something else too. Hopefully, his career continues to have this uptick that just keeps flying. I'm really impressed with the kid. But enough is enough for me. I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket. I have a concern that in that Steeler game, that if Pittsburgh gets up, this is a Fitzgerald Toussaint afternoon. I think we talked about a similar situation a few weeks ago. If somebody gets ahead, all of a sudden in comes the backup running back, and it was D'Angelo Williams a few weeks back.
Yeah, and even if not, I don't think it's going to be, you want the type of quarterback that the game is going to be, points are going to be put on the board, and it's competitive. That's why this Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers really screams to me, because that screams, 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, respectively, and
easily, yeah. That game is the over/under in that game is 50.5. The other top-notch over/under this weekend is Tennessee and Indianapolis at 53 right now. I'm looking at it. Everything else seems to hang under that that 50-point mark, but then you have New England and San Francisco at 51. I want to take that game out of the equation. Just because
of what we talked about.
Yeah, but the Green Bay game, the Green Bay Washington game looks like a ton of points. Tennessee looks like a ton of points, and Pittsburgh Cleveland is right there at 46. That's not that high. This is a game that I can see being 28-17, 34-17, 34-10. I can see that Cleveland offense falling apart.
Last year, starting lineups with D'Angelo Williams when Bell was out. Against Cleveland, when D'Angelo had 2 or 3, 25 and 30, 35, monster performances. He gets to Cleveland and they stuff him. They totally commit to stuffing the run because of the matchup, the history. They just played him better. If there was,
they got to try to stop something.
Yeah, I mean they play. When your team sucks and you lose every game. Nothing else, your rival brings the best out of you. So maybe this is the game where they do that to Bell. I'm not predicting that. I'm not calling it, but this is the reason why maybe you want to stay away from. Because if they bottle Bell up, and then maybe Joe Hayden can possibly, because we've seen Antonio Brown is human this year.
Sure.
Well, actually, probably just team is human.
That's more like it. That offensive line has got some issues. Defensively, Pittsburgh is not very good.
Yeah, so I might not want to take, especially for the money. I don't want to take a shot on them. So
no, I don't. So my quarterback number 1 is Marcus Mariota. My QB2 is Andrew Luck this week, and then QB3 I'm going Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I'll go Cousins, Rodgers, and Bortles.
Okay, Cousins, Rodgers, and Bortles. I'm going to throw my wild card quarterback in there this week, and I don't want you guys out there, but if you're trying to build a high-dollar receiver, high-dollar running back play, there's another guy that falls right in line with Marcus Mariota, and that's Matthew Stafford. Stafford's been very consistent. He plays Jacksonville in Detroit. Jacksonville's a dumpster fire. I know they've played well against the pass. They have. But, again, not a good team. You play well against the pass against teams like the Houston Texans. Brock Osweiler sucks. So that whole figure of them 4th against the pass is something that I think you can overlook at this rate. You can happily overlook it. They're not as good as you think. So Stafford is not a bad play, not my favorite play. He would round out my top 4, but stick with Mariota and Luck from this guy's side of the table. So if you're all set on your QBs, we can slide right into running backs unless you want to add a 4th wild card.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm straight.
I like the conviction.